Hey everyone, I'm here doing some bonus draft content this week for the channel. This will be the last flashback draft I can do for probably, most definitely for about the next 4 weeks. I may end up being able to do them about a month from now, but I'm not entirely sure. So let's just say this is the last guaranteed one for a while. Come August, I'll be recording them every week again, hopefully. But until then, this will be the last one for a while. So we're doing Lorwyn-Morningtide. It's we did Lorwyn, Triple Lorwyn last week. It's a very tribal set, and Morningtide introduces basically more tribes in a way, except it's sort of crossover tribes because Lorwyn block is where they introduce the whole class race model. We have human warriors, Naga warriors, Naga shamans, all that. The shaman warrior, things like that are the classes. And while they sort of existed before, from this point on, basically all cards always have both a class and a race, basically. So, and in Morningtide, there's cards that are more about the races, like shamans and warriors and things like that. So, that's something to keep in mind, though I think you still basically want to be sticking to the same sort of archetypes that were the case in Triple Lorwyn, because they're also in the last set as well. Ooh. Hello. She's not the most powerful of planeswalkers, but she's pretty good still. She doesn't exactly do anything backbreaking, but she's also only worth 56 cents. So, she does let you search your library for a card. I guess that's pretty legit. And makes people discard cards. What else do we have here? Glimmerdust Nap is a mediocre removal spell. Rebellion of the Flamekin could be kind of fun to try to build around. The Harbingers, that's a bad card. I kind of like Gold Meadow Harrier, and Judge of Currents is also quite good if we want to be in a Merfolk deck, which maybe we do. Maybe that's just what I should take. But I'm kind of leaning towards the Planeswalker. I think I'm going to, just see what happens there. She's definitely not incredible, but being able to tutor and make people discard cards is definitely relevant. And we're handed another powerful black card, so I guess we made the right choice, because Dread is very strong. We had Guile last week and never got to cast it. Dread is way better than Guile, though, so it kills anything that hits us. Lignify is a solid-ish removal spell, but I think we just go ahead and take Dread. Boggart Harbinger could be nice, but for now, we're definitely not in a tribe yet. Although if we're going to be heavy black, we're either going to be goblins, fairies, or elves. Yeah, but we just take the powerful card. Good old Dread. So that's pretty good. Back-to-back rares. It's too bad she's not worth more. But I'm not sure I actually had one. I probably should just for Commander. So. Don't mind getting it. Yeah, Mythic didn't exist yet. I'm not sure. I think Mythic was reduced basically either the next block or the one after. They're there by Alara, but I don't remember when they get introduced. But they didn't exist at this point. So Planeswalkers are only rare, so they're generally a lot cheaper than they would otherwise be. Okay. Well, this card's actually pretty good. It's best in a Goblin deck, but it is a good card. It's just like a larger Gravedigger who has a little bit more upside. We could also just take a Changeling, though this is a Changeling with Champion, so it's a little less good than most Changelings. Although it lets you champion any creature, so maybe it's probably still worth it's probably what we're going to take here, actually, the more I think about it. Hearthgate Giant's kind of nuts. Just a crazy 8-drop. Bad experiences with Zephrnet last week. I don't know what I was thinking when I took it. Yeah, I think we just take the Changeling. Being able to champion any creature is great. It'll also have synergies with whatever deck we end up in. I wouldn't mind Warren Pilferers getting those. So I'll just take the Changeling, though. So we could be Goblins. That's what Red-Black usually is. And Goblins in the set are not what we're used to seeing with Goblins. They're pretty mid-rangey. Well, there's a pretty late Judge of Currents. There's a solid Goblin here and Hornet Harasser. But the Judge is pretty good. The Merfolk deck, when it gets online, just doesn't do anything except make the board stall and gain life and things like that until you mill your opponent out, basically. I don't know why that card exists. I think I'm just going to take Hornet Harasser. He has a pretty good ability. He's a Goblin, which is likely where we end up, I'm hoping. So I think that's what I take. Crush Underfoot's good, obviously, if you really get there on a giant deck. And Lace with Moonglove is okay. It's better than some of these cards because it actually replaces itself. But you can still get 2 for 1 pretty easily. But yeah, we'll take the Harasser. He's pretty good. I had good experiences with him last week in the blue-black fairy deck we made. So, what do we have here? Well, we probably take the Caterwauling Boggart. Being able to give both elementals and goblins menace is pretty good. We're likely to pick up both. This is good if we really want to end up in the giant deck, which there's a decent card for right here. But I think we take the Boggart. Try to cut anything that says Goblin on it if we can, and try to make the Goblin deck. Our curve's terrible right now, but hopefully we can fix that. Yeah, this is the original Liliana here. It's kind of unfair. Obviously she has one of the best Planeswalkers ever in Liliana of the Veil, but I think she's probably the worst of the Lorwyn Planeswalkers, which is odd that Black ended up with the worst. But so another Hornet Harasser is not something I mind. Axe Grinder Giant, Exiled Boggart, I think we just take another Harasser. There's a solid Changeling here, that's for sure, but I'm going to take the Harasser here. Ponder's not worth something, is it? I don't think it is, just because. It's worth like 15 cents, which is a lot for a common on Magic Online, but yeah, we'll take Hornet Harasser here. So 4 goblins that all cost 4 mana. It's too bad he doesn't have an Enter the Battlefield ability. So we did see the Boggart Emissary. Wow, there's the Giant Lord. Mournwelk. Here's a Goblin, but it's not an especially good one. I'm thinking about taking the Giant Lord. I mean, he has a huge amount of upside, obviously. And Horner's Greed is pretty good. I like it more than this Goblin, but I'm kind of leaning towards the Giant. Yeah, I think I'll take the Giant here. Another Hornet Harasser. A Nectar Fairy, who's for Fairy and Elf decks, really. Wow, lots of Judge of Currents have been going around. Probably should have been Merfolk, I guess. I don't know if I want 3 Hornet Harassers. You can get Chewer, seems like at least a decent sideboard card. Yeah, I'll take it. I don't know if it's going to make our deck, but it is an elemental, and Caterwauling Boggart cares about that. Oh, good, these made it back. Now I feel like we're in business, because this, being able to get a Goblin back and have this guy have haste is a pretty nice value. He's good anyway. Definitely don't want this horrible Goblin, though. There's the Treefolk Harbinger, but Treefolk are hard to make work, so that's not a huge surprise. Rebellion of the Flamekin. It would have been fun to take that and force that deck, but we'll take a Pilfers here. Okay, Fodder Launch. It's pretty strong, but I think I might want the Harbinger more. Maybe I don't. No, we probably don't. That's pretty ridiculous if we get enough goblins, and we're already doing a decent job. Pretty sweet if you sacrifice a Hornet Harasser to it as well. So let's just take that. Another War and Pilfers. Boggart Birthright means we can get back our Fodder Launch. Not the Hoodlums. It's one of these. Kind of leaning towards the Birthright, especially if we can pick up Tarfire. We have one removal spell already, so that's pretty good. And our Changeling counts. I think I'm going to take it over another Pilfers. All right, I guess I'll take one of these now. Obviously, I don't love him. I have to control another Giant, not a Goblin. But Alright, well, it's a good sideboard card if nothing else. And another one of these, but I probably don't want to be running more than one. Alright, so I think we're a Goblin deck. Don't know that I'll be playing Sunrise Sovereign. Well, here's Muldrifter, which is like the best common in the set, basically. Here's a Giant with some Goblin synergies. Not the best, though. Do I want to try to splash Muldrifter? I think I probably do. I mean, there are ways to splash. This Goblin's not very good. Pack in general doesn't amaze me. Yeah, Kolfenor's Rune's a cool card, but not what we're looking for. But yeah, if we can pick up some Vivid Lands and stuff, we can definitely splash Muldrifter. So I think that's what we take here. It's just strong as hell. You know, I mean, 5 mana to have a 2/2 flyer and draw 2 cards, or just drawing 2 cards as another option is amazing. So I think that's what we take. Skeletal Changeling is worth looking at. It is a Goblin, but we'll take the Muldrifter here. Try to splash that dude. Okay. Elf cards. Wow, this pack's bad for us. Whew. I don't know if I want anything in here. Axe Grinder Giant, Foot Bottom Feast. I mean, Foot Bottom Feast is probably the best. Mournwelk isn't a terrible sideboard card, but yeah, I guess I take the Feast. I mean, we do have Giant Synergy with this Giant, but yeah, I'm just going to take the Feast, I guess. Okay, here's some red cards, and a good one. Tar Pitcher. That's good for our deck. This is a solid card for our deck as well. Nath is pretty sweet for whoever's in Elves. I think we just take Tar Pitcher. It's good, especially in conjunction like Hornet Harasser. We now have 2 good combinations with Hornet Harasser, Fodder Launch, and Tar Pitcher. And it may even be worth trying to find another Hornet Harasser. I mean, we passed one, but we're getting some synergies. We really need to work on our curve, though. That's our biggest problem for sure. Consuming Bonfire isn't a terrible removal spell, but what does the other half of it do? Oh, you can like really kill a tree folk, like hard. That's all it does. Remember the first part. Pestermite's really good as well, but we'll take a Tar Pitcher. Okay, Mudbud and Torch Runner is really good. It's another Goblin who likes to be sacrificed. It gets to Lightning Bolt things when it dies, and that's pretty good. So I think we take it. Crib Swap is a nice removal spell. There's also an Eye-Blight's Ending, which is also a good removal spell. But, I mean, we're kind of getting removal in the form of our Goblins, which I think is solid. I wouldn't mind getting an Eye-Blight's Ending. But now that I have several Goblin payoffs now, so I think we just start taking them as much as we can. And this is a Goblin. But there's also a Tar Fire. I think we definitely take that. It's both a Goblin and removal. Wouldn't mind a Firebelly Changeling in our deck. It's a solid Changeling or a Skeletal Changeling. And this isn't a terrible sideboard card. But we're going to take Tar Fire. Getting that back with Boggart Birthright is pretty nice. Adderstaff Boggart is solid. It's just a 2-mana 2/1 who happens to be a Goblin. Boggart Loggers is fine. Oh gosh, do I want Face Vaulter more than I want that? I mean, that creates real problems for my opponent. I mean, we're getting there on Goblins for sure. I think I do take Face Vaulter here. I like Adderstaff, and it's sad we're not going to continue to see these same Goblins because we're switching packs in the third pack, but Face Vaulter's pretty good. It's, it does cost 1 black to sacrifice, but we're getting there on Goblins, so that's not impossible. So I'll take it. Now I can steal a Goat, but it's worth noting that means I can steal opponents' Changelings. It may seem strange, but it does let me steal Changelings. Don't think we're playing our Giant. We do see Giant Harbinger here. I'm thinking I'm going to take Goat Napper, because basically everybody runs Changelings. Question is if it's main boardable, and I'm not entirely sure. But I think we'll take it. We need the lower drops pretty badly. Now this is a Goblin, with a little bit of giant upside, and we could pick up some more giants. So I think I take it. I don't love it. It's basically just a goblin, but we do need goblins. We do want goblins. I think I take Skeletal Changeling over Exiled Boggart here. It's just a card that can block forever and also happens to be a goblin. I could also take Lowland Oaf, which isn't the worst. I mean, at least we have a reason to have giants, but I think we'll take the Changeling. Now, what classes are we looking at here? Rogues are worth noting because of Prowl, a mechanic in the next set that cares about rogues. Shaman. We have a lot of shamans. Another rogue, warrior, rogue. This is what I meant when I was talking about the classes. Yeah, I'm going to take Mournwelk, I guess. It's an okay sideboard card. So in terms of goblins, I feel like the deck's pretty open. This is a pretty terrible one, though. Pepper Smoke isn't the worst thing ever, even if you don't have fairies. And we do have a couple of changelings, right? So I think it's what I'm going to take here. I don't know if I'm going to mainboard it. Oh, well, never mind. I think I'd play this instead. We're just going to take all the goblins. I don't know if we want more than one birthright, but we'll take it. This is a crazy card. But we don't want the Hoodlums. I think we'd rather have Quill Slinger, decent sideboard card. And I'll take Fairy Tauntings, which is pretty bad, but, could be an interesting build around one of these days. Yeah, it really could be, actually, because it doesn't just care about fairies, even. You could just build a deck that is filled with flash and instant. Although black actually doesn't have a lot of flash cards. So, I hope I don't have to play this Exiled Boggart. The rest of what we're looking at, I like, for the most part. Stinktrigger Daredevil's not amazing. We did pick up 2 Harassers, even though we passed one. Our Pilferers have lots of goblins to bring back. And then we have 2 pretty powerful Curve Toppers. I kind of forgot to pick up a good way to splash Muldrifter, but we may still have a chance to do so. So no giants at this point, but maybe we'll get one or 2. Okay, well, there it is. I mean, it's not the most amazing of abilities, but it's not terrible. I mean, how much removal does an opponent's deck usually have? I was talking about Prowl a minute ago is what I meant by there it is. I mean, it's also a 5-mana, 5/3 Goblin, but what do I have in terms of rogues? So our Changelings count as rogues. Are you a rogue? You're a warrior. Warrior, rogue. Shaman. That's also a rogue. We don't have a ton of rogues, but there's another one. We can pick up more. We should probably look at the rest of the pack, though, while I'm thinking about this. Violet Pal is a pretty good removal spell. Pal. Yeah, another card, Prowl. Baldweir Intimidator is a pretty fun card. I have him on, I did an MTG Top 10 of most flavorful cards, and he was on it. That's a really good card for elementals. I think we just go for the rare, though. I mean, it doesn't look as good as it might otherwise. I mean, as it does. I mean, it's not that great in general. I mean, it's better in limited, is what I'm trying to say. Struggling to say. If a goblin is sacrificed this way, yeah, that's not that good. Elemental spells and warrior spells cost less. Also bolster. Some elemental action. It's kind of a funny card, giving a land that ability. I may just take the Banneret. I mean, we have several warriors, and I don't mind it. There's nothing to help us like splash anything in this pack in our colors. You only have one counter, right? Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the Banneret. And Bolster's pretty relevant. If it's 2 mana, ooh, there's a good removal spell. Yeah, it only gets +1/+1 till end of turn. It's too bad it's not a counter. There's another rogue spell. It's not amazing, though. Moonglove Changeling isn't bad. Man, Elf decks. Elf decks are having a good time. So is it just Spite Bellows? It probably is. He's just a really good removal spell. I mean, a Shapeshifter, Changeling is fine, but we don't have that much removal, and Spite Bellows is really good. So that's what I'm going to take here. This is another silly giant. My opponent gets to search his library for the largest, best creature in his deck in exchange for 4 mana. That one can make people discard cards. I mean, it's a fine card. Pulling Teeth. This is a Shaman equipment. We've seen lots of good green changelings. I'm kind of sad about that. Fire Juggler's interesting. Is it better than Squeaking Pie Grubfellows? I'm going to say yes just because I need some more lower drops. That's probably not. But I'll take Fire Juggler. We have to win the clash, of course, but another Intimidator. Okay, Warspike Changeling. That's one I like. Shard Volley is also solid in our deck. But we probably just take Frog Tosser Banneret, actually. Yeah, I mean, it gives us more Goblin payoffs. It also has a little bit of Rogue payoff. I don't know if we have any Rogues who aren't Goblins, but he does help activate Prowl, and I think that's relevant. So we will take it. So I don't know about the Goat Napper. I mean, basically everyone has changelings, but there's no guarantee they'll have one in play, you know. But we have several Goblin payoffs, and we have some good Goblins. I don't know if we're going to be able to splash that. We just haven't seen. If I saw some of it earlier, I kind of overlooked it. All right, well, there's a solid removal spell here in Violet Pal. And we don't have a ton of removal. There's also a Warspike Changeling who I wouldn't mind having. But I think we probably take the removal because we kind of need it. Yeah. Also gives us a fairy for what that's worth. Yeah, but I wouldn't mind either of those, the Changeling or the Goblin there, but what are you going to do? How many warriors do we have? You're a warrior. I know I have a few of them. Maybe. I mean, these count. The Shapeshifters are all warriors. Wow, maybe I only have one Goblin warrior. Okay, not what I'm looking for. Now I'll probably take a Warspike Changeling. Solid combat trick. This is like Exalted before Exalted existed. Yeah, I'll take this. Our curve is kind of terrible. Each other rogue. So we do have enough rogues that I probably play a 2-mana 1/1 with some upside in my deck over a Mud Button Charger. I think we do. We need 2 drops. We have a few rogues. We could take this removal spell again. I don't know if we really want 2 of those that share no creature types. It's very narrow in this format. There's a fun build around. I kind of forgot about that card. It even existed until just now. I guess we take another Violet Pal. I don't want any of this other stuff anymore. Target creature or player. Maybe we take this. I think there's more of a chance it makes our deck. So I don't get it. I mean, I guess the idea is I do have goblins who have death triggers that are good, and then I also get 2 1/1 goblins after the fact, and it's what I'm gonna take, but I'm not a fan. I don't think of that card. Morsel Theft. Well, now we'll take a Mud Button Clanger. There's a 1-drop, if nothing else. So yeah, okay. I don't know if we're going to play him either. There's definitely some trimming we need to do. Goblins is pretty open, I think. Yeah, Kindled Fury. At least have it in my sideboard. I may even want to mainboard it. This is at least in our colors, but, don't really want it. And that guy. So, goblins. Let's see here. Let's group creatures separately. Now, how many rogues did we end up with? Warrior. Yeah, most of my warriors are actually... We have 2 warriors who are less than 2 mana, so that reducing their costs is kind of irrelevant, but we do have a couple changelings. So let's look at rogues, because that'll help me determine whether or not Una's Blackguard's worth it. Oh, you're a rogue. You're a rogue, technically. So is Skeletal Changeling. Shaman, 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 Rogue. And the more rogues, the better, in the sense that we can use Earwig Squad's Prowl effect. Okay. Shamans. We have lots of shamans. More shamans than rogues. Oh, right. You're also a shaman. I mean, I think that's enough for Una's Blackguard to be worth running in our deck. I don't know that this Brighthearth Banneret is. Let's look at warriors. Okay, so again, the changelings are warriors. You're all rogues, so you're not warriors. Shamans. You're all shamans in this pile. Okay. Oh, you're a rogue, too. Now, the question is, he has a decent chance of getting cut now that I see I have enough of them. Okay. I don't think we want Brighthearth Banneret. Do we want Roar of the Crowd? How many goblins did we end up with? If we have enough goblins, then I think Roar of the Crowd's probably worth running. It's still a little clunky and a little dangerous, but is like every creature in my deck a goblin? Oh, you're not. And you're not. Now, we do have 1 elemental, I guess, so that's a little bit of upside for our Brighthearth Banneret, plus the bolster. Or reinforce, not bolster, whatever it is. But you are all goblins. Okay. Yes, you are. Okay, so... All right. So I think we definitely need to trim about 4 cards. And I think we have enough rogues that we don't need to keep Stink Drinker Daredevil in our deck. Having a low curve card like that doesn't hurt, but I don't think we want it. I'm not sure we want Mud Button Clanger. I mean, yeah, we're going to hit a goblin a lot of the time, but he becomes a 2/2. So after like turn 3 or 4, he's pretty useless. Face Vaulter, on the other hand, stays good in the later game. Boggart Birthright can get us back 2 of our removal spells. Those are all good things. Goat Napper's kind of worth looking at. It is another rogue. Fire Shaman's probably more likely to get cut for me than Fire Juggler, more than Goat Napper, because, if nothing happens, I mean, a 3-mana 2/2 is pretty bad. The rest of these 3-mana 2/2s, I think, have more upside than he does. You have to win, the clash, so... Yeah, you're a goblin. You probably stay. Roar the Crowd's worth thinking about taking out. So is Squeaking Pie Grub Fellows. Okay, so, yeah, we probably cut... I think we probably cut both of these. Roar of the Crowd does have the potential to be good, but I think it's actually better if we had like lots of ways of making tokens. Oh, we don't actually have to cut both of them, do we? So maybe we cut Squeaking Pie Grub Fellows, and at least this can be a removal spell. And our curve is not amazing. That was kind of a problem the whole draft, but I think I like it. I think goblins were pretty open. We got some of the better payoffs for them. Menace, for example, which this with Menace is actually pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, I think we leave it at that. And let's sort by color. Yeah, we definitely need more black. We just have single red costs. And we have lots of doubles. We even have a triple black. So I don't know if it's quite that extreme. 10-7. This does cost double red to evoke, but I think we probably still leave it that way. Alright, well, I think this is our deck. We got a bunch of creatures, got a bunch of goblins, have a cool finisher in Dread, and got a planeswalker, so it's kind of what you hope for in Lorwyn block. Most of your creatures are the same type, and you have a cool planeswalker and a cool incarnation, so both are two cool cycles in this set. Right, well, we will head to match 1. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.